One of the greats of British comedy, Frankie Howerd was once described as looking like a menagerie of luckless animals, a disreputable bloodhound, a melancholy camel, and an apologetic yak. He started out in radio in the 1940s, became unexpectedly fashionable in the 60s after being championed by Ned Sherrin and Peter Cook, and enjoyed huge success on television, particularly with the hit series Up Pompeii. Frankie's best-known catchphrase was "Titter ye not," but audiences couldn't help but titter whenever he came on, which made him a favourite booking on the television talk show circuit.
There, please.
Thank you very much.
In fact, it's...
Now, wait a minute. Let's make sure that you've got the same questions I've got the answers for. I think so. Listen, before we start the show proper, who writes your material? Because if I may say so, it's a damn sight more filthy than mine. Did you notice that?
That's not true
It
at all.
is true, Michael, it is.
Can we start off by telling everybody that...
Do.
In fact, today is an anniversary for you, isn't it? Because it's 25 years to the day.
Big mouth. Of course, you would bring that up, yes. 25 years... since what?
Since you first appeared on radio.
It's about 25 years since I did anything, actually, but... if you know what I mean. But, since I appeared on radio. Yes, radio. Oh, remember?
That was Variety Bandbox, wasn't
Yes, 25 years ago. Yes, it was a Sunday. I did it on a Sunday. That's
Yeah.
absolutely right. You're quite right. It was Sunday 25 years ago, yes. I was still doing the same jokes.
Because when you came into radio, you were successful, weren't you? After the first sort of couple of months or so, you became very successful with a very unique personal style there. And you did, of course, have people writing for you at that
Well,
time, didn't you?
if I may just say this, I wasn't very successful.
Not immediately to start with. But
No, as a matter of fact, they were going to throw me off after 3
Really?
months. Yes, because I was playing, I started in December and it came to Easter time and I was playing up at the Empire, in Peterborough. I remember it very well. And a letter came saying that if I didn't improve or alter the scripts or do something about it, they would have to get rid of me. It was a very nice letter, you know, the BBC.
Yes.
Sweetness itself.
So,
But
nice people.
but nice people, but nevertheless underneath was
Mean, but
improve
nice
or get out mean. To you as well?
Yeah.
I see. Liar. I read about you in the Sunday Times last week. Caviar and cheap wine. Never mind. Well, you keep deflecting me.
They bought the cheap wine.
No,
you were talking about you got this letter from the BBC.
Oh, yes, telling me I was... Yes, so I thought to myself, now, what am I going to do about this? I thought something is wrong. Either they're wrong or I am. So I thought it must be me. So I thought, now what am I going to do about this? I looked and I thought the scripts aren't all that bad, even though I was writing them. And I wrote my own stuff in those days, and I thought it aren't all that bad. So I thought, now, something must be wrong. And I realised something which should have been obvious to me for 3 months, really, but suddenly came in a blinding flash, something which I should have known right from the start, that I was being too visual. See, I started by, on the stage, making funny faces. Well, of course, when you're listening to the radio, you don't hear funny faces. And so I was going, and you see, and the studio audience... Now, you see, if this was sound radio and you'd been very kind enough to laugh, people were saying, what the hell are they laughing at? If this was sound radio, and so I thought to myself, now what I've got to do is to try and be funny with the voice, not the face, and make it speed up. So I then learned to do, that's ludicrous, ladies and gentlemen, and do things with my voice rather than just pull faces. And then from then onwards it improved, I'm glad to say, and they kept me on.
Do you have any funny or bitter memories about really dying the death, Frankie?
Going badly, you mean?
Yeah.
Well, yes, I've gone badly. 25 years is a long time, and I've had ups and downs, a lot of ups and downs, and I've had a lot of times when I've gone badly, and if I may say, a lot of times when I haven't been very good, and I've come off and I've missed time gags, I've done jokes, and I've suddenly thought, now, they didn't laugh. Now, why? My manager has come off and said, you bloody fool, you forgot the funny line at the end. I promise you this is true. I promise you this is true. I remember the first joke I ever did. Shall I tell the first joke I did? It'll lighten it up a bit, wouldn't it? Because we're getting a bit... I remember the first joke I ever did on the music hall. That's that memory. I can't remember the first radio script. It was about taking 2 elephants to Crewe, I remember.
That was an Eric Sykes.
Yes, Eric Sykes wrote that. And it's amazing the number of people remember that, in a way better than I do. But it's true, because one does a lot of scripts over 25 years. But I just thinking, though, before, when you mentioned 25 years, the first musical joke I ever did was about this old man, poor old boy, 82, and he went to the doctors. So, wait a minute, so this doctor said, what's wrong? So the man said, nothing wrong. He said, the thing is, I'm 82, you see, so I want you to examine me, because he said, I'm getting married. Saturday. So this doctor said, married? Oh. He said, yes, I want you to examine me and make sure I'm in good working order, because he said, I want to know to be right for the honeymoon, and I want to... So the doctor said, well, who are you marrying? So the man said, well, a girl, naturally. Well, the doctor said, look, don't be facetious. He said, how old is this girl? He said, 24. The doctor said, you're 82 and she's 24? Dear, oh dear. But he said, well, that's, yes. Well, he said, well, yes. He said, you don't seem to, yes. You seem to be all, yes. He said, you should. But he said, so the old boy said, I'm 82, could you give me any advice? You see, so the doctor said, well, he said, if you're 82 and she's 24, there is quite a discrepancy in the ages. Could I suggest to you, you took in a young lodger? Because, you see, you're out getting your old age pension. She's on her own a lot. It'll be company for her. It'll keep her happy and satisfied. You'll find it'll be there'll be connubial bliss taking a young lodger. So this old boy said, I'll do that then, right? A young lodger. So off he went, you see. Now, a year later, he was going down the high street on his Lambretta. And, of course, this doctor saw it. He said, here. So this old boy went over. He said, here. So he said to the doctor said, how are you getting on? He said, all smashing, lovely. He said, how's the marriage going? He said, all smashing, lovely. Smashing. He said, how's your wife? She said, smashing. He said, smashing. She's just had a baby. So the doctor said, had a baby, oh. So he said, well, how's the lodger? Oh, he said, she's had one as well. That's the worst.
Frankie was always far more interested in telling stories than answering interviewers' questions, and looked on every chat show appearance as an opportunity to unleash one of his trademark rambling tales.
Certainly, you look extremely well. I must say, you've lost a lot of weight.
Yeah, I did lose some weight. I tell you, mind you, I've done this a bit deliberately because I was a bit overweight. I must. When I fell, there was a lot to fall, if you know what I mean. So I went 2 weeks ago. Last week, I thought to myself, I'll lose a few pounds. I'll try and sort of, you know. And so I got up one morning, and you won't believe this, but this is true. I got up one morning, and I'd make up a cup of tea. I'm in my dressing gown. And I could hear something go through the door, you know, what do you call it, the box, the letterbox. Okay. So I thought, oh, God, I hope it's not that again. And so I went to look outside to see, because some strange things have come through my letterbox recently, so I thought to myself, I'll look outside and I'll see who it was. And I looked round and there was nobody there. I said the old boy next door doing something in his garden. And he's very silly, though, because one day they'll catch him at it and you know, he's silly to himself. Anyway, so it was this brochure. It said it was a new health clinic, a sunbeam sauna and Turkish bath, and it said lose a few pounds. So I thought to myself, that's me. That sounds interesting. So I went to this Sunbeam Health Club, and you've seen them. They're here in Birmingham, aren't they? This sort of health.
I'm sure we have that.
Have you been to some?
I haven't personally. No,
no, I thought you had. No. And anyway,
I wish you had come in a wheelchair.
I know. Anyway, never mind. Next week you have a better chance, because they'll only make keep quiet when you ask a few questions. But so I went to into this health place, and there's a slimming, and there's a woman there at the desk. God help us. She was, God, the fat out of this, see, she was almost crushing the desk, and I thought to myself, she's no advert for a start, you see. And she said, good morning. She said, would you care for both? So I said, Well, it's very kind. I said, I think one will be quite sufficient, thank you. She said, no, the saw, no. She said, oh, you know, the Turkish. So I said, oh, it's very well. I'll have the yes, well, yes. Well, she said, you'll have to undress. So I was just, she said, not here. She said, inside. I was so baffled by this. I was so flustered. So I went inside, and I took my clothes, and she gave me a key for a little booth. As I went inside, took my clothes over there, and I went, nothing on. And went into the sauna bath, all these men sitting around, you know, so I nodded, and in fact... everything nodded, and so I sat down. There was all this wooden bench, and I sat down. You see, it was like a burst of applause. And, oh dear, it is an old gag, but they're all serviceable. And there was a man next to me. I was chatting away, and I found out eventually he was a vicar, and because you can't tell when they're unfrocked. And he was sitting next to me. So eventually, this man came in. It was a masseur, and he said, right, anyone from massage in here? So he took me to this next room, and there was a big hard wooden bench. And you swear, and he said, right, sit down there. He said, yes. He said, don't worry. He said, we'll soon have that off, don't worry. So he said, that flab, that rubber tyre. So he got I was like a pound of raw steak. Then he said, right, now, he said, go along the end of the corridor. And he said, and he said, you'll see the steam room. He said, and lay out. So I went on the end of the corridor and freezing. I was like a Wedgwood tea set. I was blue. And I couldn't see where I was going. I didn't know. I was twisting and turning. The perspiration there. And there was all this steam. So I went in this thing and I saw this stone slab. So I thought, I laid myself out. What's I heard these voices? Women's voices. I thought, it's odd. So I opened my eyes, and all these women stood there. I was in a fishmonger's window. And this man was saying, anyone for a fillet of rock salmon, and this knife, this thing. Say, now, do you believe that?
Of course not.
Of course. You don't?
No.
Oh, God. Well, I hope the judge does, because my case comes up on Friday, so...
Frankie's first ambition was to be a straight actor, but he failed to get into the acting school of RADA. Years later, an appearance on The Parkinson Show saw him look back on that failure and also demonstrate his acting range to the theatre director Trevor Nunn and film director Brian Forbes.
I did some Shakespeare. That's what you want to get into. I know what you want to get into. And I did To Be or Not to Be, which is about, 3 minutes? To be... And I was... now, it's supposed to last about 3 minutes. By the time I'd finished, dawn was breaking. And all the panel were going like this, and they just said, get out. So I did. So I went back. I used to live near on the outskirts of London, and there was some beautiful fields. It was a very nasty day, and I sat there and I cried for an hour. I thought to myself, that's the end of the world. I'll have to get a job. Yes, I did. I got a job in the docks, actually, in Tooley Street in London, the dockyards. And then I thought, no, I won't. I'll be a comic. That's what I'll do, because I enjoyed doing comedy parts. So then I switched into well, I hope, the comedy. Some people don't think it's comedy, but I tried it.
Well, what about, doing an audition now for these?
Yes, Michael, pardon?
Well, two very distinguished
Oh, distinguished? You can always tell they're distinguished. They dress so badly.
Yeah.
Well, you're all right. Have you caught the new suit? Look at that. It's nice and changed, isn't it? Yes. And they say there's no money about. Look at that now. What?
What about doing it?
Who whistled? It was a man. That's all I get. All right. Yes, sorry.
Would you like to have another go at auditioning for these two gentlemen?
What?
They might give you
now?
No, they might give you a job.
Well, the way they look at these going... Can I get this over? What should I do then? Well, I can't do auditions.
What do you want to do?
What I would.
Go on, do To Be or Not to Be.
I can't remember it. I'll do some. All right. When you promise me you'll listen with interest.
Well, after what you just said about my clothes.
Well, yes, because that's a sign of a genius.
Is it? Oh.
There's hypocrisy. Now. All right, I might get a job out of this. What should I do? I can't do it. I haven't learned anything. I haven't prepared anything. I'll do some emotion. I'll show you my... Pardon the expression, I'll show you my range.
Right. What does it go from? To where?
Right, what do you want me to do? What can I do?
Anger.
Anger. Listen, you'll love this. I'll push the chair back now. Oh, you swine! Where's the camera? Put it on that camera there, that's anger. Oh, you swine! I won't do it. I won't do it! No, sorry, that's not anger, that's tragedy. No. Sorry. That was meant to be anger. Come on, I'll get you, come on. That's it, you see. You don't frighten me for a second. That's anger. What else do you want?
Joy.
Joy. Well, Mother, keep that camera on, will you? Hello. Isn't it a lovely day? Isn't the news beautiful? Recession and everything. It's a lovely day. And Christmas is on us. Crampy time. Yeah. What else?
Humility.
Humility. Humility.
Your prize run done.
Shut your face. What? It's a zip. Holy flies, it's a zip. Thank you, Ernie Wise. Keep your trap shut, will you? Let's see some acting from you now. Come on. Anger.
That's the method school.
It looks like Jeffrey Howe. Now, come on, that's anger. Come on. Passion. No.
Well, give me something to work
What
with.
else? Drama, then.
I just can't do that. It makes me embarrassed looking
No,
at
do
camera.
drama. I can't. Go on, then. Listen. I won't ask you to do humility, because there's no chance of that.
A highbrow role would eventually come Frankie's way. To his surprise, he was asked to appear on stage in the opera De Fledermaus, something he explains here to Russell Harty.
But you've been singing Die Fledermaus, haven't you?
Oh, in the opera?
Yeah.
No, I haven't.
You haven't?
I wish you'd get your facts right. No, I haven't.
Let me begin again.
Yeah.
You haven't been singing in Die Fledermaus, have you?
Yes, in a way. Because the part I played at Die Fledermaus,
Yeah.
which is an opera, is a part of a drunken jailer who comes into the third act but doesn't actually sing, you see.
Right.
Except that I did, because I wasn't supposed to, but I used to go la da da la la like that. But I was supposed to be a drunken jailer, and in this jail, people are running in and out. Nobody knows who's what, least of all me.
Yeah.
You see, and I'm sort of blundering around, supposed to be drunk, acting, of course. I wasn't acting on Saturday, but I was acting in this play.
Go
Yes,
on.
go on.
And
It's
did
your
you sing?
interview. What?
What parts did you do? The part of a drunken jailer?
Frosh, the name was. Can't you imagine me being drunk?
No.
Oh, I know it's an effort, but this lovely, innocent face. Can you act drunk?
I can't, because I don't know what it means. So.
Well, I see.
Show us what you did.
I can't show all I did, because it'd take another hour, but I used to... See, I used to... this is supposed to be acting. I used to... Shut up! That isn't. Now, you see, I used to say drunk, and I used... this is... yeah, and, well... Oh, is it? Yeah. I should... Now, I say we want, during this part of the proceedings, we don't want any unseemly mirth, we don't want any... No tittering. No! No, you must keep your titters in. Mrs. No titters out. All titters, big and small, must be kept in, especially the big ones now. We must all go home titterless. Here. Oh, no. Here. Oh, it's a camera. Oh, it's the Daleks. No, it's the camera. No. I was in the air. Oh, no. I just missed the sails. Russ. Oh. And I went, no, buy these pair of shoes, and there was this assistant, and this is it. Yeah, it was, and, but, I say, so, yeah. So I pushed it, I said to this, the new shoes, I couldn't, I said, excuse me. I said, this left shoe doesn't fit. He said, have you tried it with the tongue out? I said, no.
1985 marked the 40th anniversary of the end of World War II, and Frankie was invited onto the Wogan show to talk about his experiences of the conflict.
I remember we did a sketch, which I wrote, a song called, it was a drag thing, and there was three boys, me and two others, dressed as Miss Twillo, Miss True, and Miss Twit, and these, with the ATS girls, do you remember they were called ATS girls then? They were lady soldiers, you see. And now we hadn't got our outfits, so we used to lure 3 girls along and take them to the loo and say, could we borrow your clothes? We left them their knickers, of course, but we took the things and we put balloons in here and red and lipstick, all of us, 3 of us, and you say, we do this, and I looked like a real old bag, and it was a comedy thing. And one day, I know this is absolutely true, that the air raid siren ran, and we were supposed to be on duty, on parade. So we took, but we hadn't got time to wash. So there we were on the parade ground, and the lieutenant came along, and hello, Roth, I know, all wind and pips, and wagging his stick, and red lips, and he ordered arms, so he looked at the barrel, and he saw this lips and makeup with a tin helmet. He went away, so he came back again. He said, what the hell are you doing? So I said, well, actually, we're in the concert party, sir. He said, well, dear God, he said, if the Germans invade and catch you, you should be very interesting. So, I didn't go into what he meant, but you would know.
I know, yes, of course.
Well, you're sophisticated these ways, you see.
What were you doing 40 years ago on VA?
V-Day,
Yeah.
V-Day. I was actually, we just went across into Holland to liberate Holland. There again to administer and get food, because they were dropping food by parachutes by the RAF, and they're all starving, the Dutch, and I remember the family, it was only 100 of us, and we were the first, I actually can say that, the first people actually got to go into liberated Holland. And they invited us into a house, there was a family, and we stood there, and they announced VE Day, and then we stood to attention. These families suddenly got stood and sang the British national anthem, and then the Dutch national anthem, which I larred, because I didn't know Dutch, so I had to go la, la, la. And it was very emotional, though, and they brought out a bottle of schnapps, is it, you know?
Yes.
You know, that's right. That's what he dashed to you.
We had a couple of glasses of it just before we came on, do you remember?
I hope we shall have some when we get up, too. No, but it was very emotional then. Then we went right into oh, no, so I was sitting, no, I wish you'd be quiet. This lot. This is disgraceful.
You're too good for this crowd.
Yeah,
We're all
I'm too sophisticated, you mean.
A class act.
I went in The Hague, and there was only this 100 soldiers, and they were clambering in backs of trucks. And this officer said to me, still with his high voice, he said, "Get in somewhere at the back hard." Hard. He used to go hard. I was a corporal, by the way, then. And I saw this empty staff car at the back, and I thought, well, I'll get in that. So I was sitting in the back, I took my hat off, I was sat there like that, and I thought, and all of a sudden, there were from Main Road, the people waving, and we went through this triumphant entry, and they all thought I was Montgomery. That's true, I swear to you, there was cheering each side, because it went to my head. See, and ever since then, every time I go on a bus, I'm doing this on a bus.
Our final 2 clips sum up Frankie and his act perfectly. Here he is grabbing the camera and delivering 2 tales that deliberately seem to start out saucy, but somehow end up being completely innocent.
Please, I should fly into a tantrum, get a tantrum ready. Now listen. There was a young lady of Spain who liked it now and again. Not now and again, but now and again and again. Now. And listen. Please. Now, look, just because she was kinky about ice cream, now, what is the wrong with that? Why this outcry? Why? What is vulgarity? Vulgarity is in the mind. It's like beauty in the eyes of the beholder. It's like beauty in the eyes of the beholder. I mean, different people say, taste. What is taste? I'll give you an example now. I'll give you an example. But vulgarity. Now, let's take the audience here. Now, here we are now. Now, listen. Oh, yes. Oh, I see. I'm on one, am I? All right. Now, I know a friend. We'll see. I'll prove my point. I know a friend of mine who's a cricketer, you see. And sometimes he bats right-handed, and sometimes he bats left-handed. Right-handed and left-handed. So I thought to myself, how does he do this? How does he work it out? Is that the wind? Does it go? Or is it premonition? So I said, look, excuse me. I said, look, Ian, tell me. I said, now, when you're batting, gladly, sometimes you bat with your right hand, sometimes with your left hand. How do you figure this out? He said, my wife. I said, your wife? He said, when I wake up in the morning, he said, Terry, and she's lying on her right side, I bat right-handed. Now, if I wake up in the morning and she's... wait a minute. And she wakes up and she's lying on her left side, I bat left-handed. So I said, wait a minute. Suppose she's lying on her back. He said, in that case, I phone up and say I'll be an hour late. Now, wait. Because that means she wants her breakfast in bed, you see. No, you don't blame me, can you?
It's for routines like those that Frankie Howerd will be remembered. Naughty but nice, cheeky but never cruel, and every story delivered with a raised eyebrow, a little wink, and a knowing look to the audience.